Hello everybody. Sorry, I'm late. Hopefully you all read my email that I sent out about the back-to-back meetings, so I didn't have as much control over the other one and when it was going to end. All right. Hello everyone. Again, the Power Apps community call, I did a demo on that's actually a Microsoft community call. I just did a demo there. It's been for the past hour, so now I'm flipping over to this. So let me go ahead and do my little stinger here. All right, hello everyone. I'm Laura Rogers, and this is SharePoint Power Hour, and I just got off a Microsoft Power Apps community call. So I'm just kind of had everything ready to get started with Power Hour, but I'm just kind of scrambling to get Joelle on the call and get everything kind of situated. So, Joelle, can we hear you? Let's see. Hopefully. We were having audio issues last week with getting my cohort Joelle Jobson on the call and as part of the audio, so I'm not sure if it's maybe functioning this time or not, and we didn't get a chance to test it. But I don't know why I can't hear her. Can you all hear her? We're running late already. I was just hoping it would magically work. We got it to work after the call. We tested it after the call last week when it wasn't working, and we got it to work, but I'm sorry. I don't hear you, Joelle. That sucks. All right. Okay. I'm going to have to just move on with the site swap stuff. Joelle's done actually a few of these, so it'd be awesome if she would have been able to be part of the audio, but I was scrambling too much to get, do the other video this morning that we didn't get a chance to test it right before the call. Okay, so I sent out in one of the latest newsletters, I did send out voting and last week, and the site swap was one of the things to vote on, but I think it's really important, and I think a lot of people maybe didn't know what it was, so therefore didn't vote on it, but I think it's important for you all to know about it, know what it is, know how it can help you, and how to do it, because I think that a lot of people need this, and I think that it's going to be very helpful for you to understand what it can do. All right, so does anybody have an Office 365 tenant that was created earlier than, say, this year? Probably most of you. So what you get when you have these older these Office 365 tenants, you have this root SharePoint site. What is a root SharePoint site? That is where you have just your main site, so company.sharepoint.com. That is your root. So that is not something that you can necessarily change or delete or anything like that. It's just you get what you get. So a long time ago when all these tenants were created, the root site was always created as just a classic team site. Now you can with a classic team site, you can kind of make the pages modern and you can make the home page modern, but there isn't a way to, communication sites are really what you want for those main intranet pages, not some classic old team site. So in really, wanting to have a communication site as your root site and not being stuck permanently with what you had, that is where site swap comes in. So what you can do is, in the past, you just had to, create your communication sites and all of their URLs would just be sites / whatever. They weren't ever the root site. Now the newer communication sites actually, newer tenants actually have a communication site as the root. So you don't have to worry about it as much. But do any of you have this? Kind of tell me in the chat window. If you've never been to SharePoint Power Hour, we use Slack for our chat. So it's a fun way of just interacting and talking as we go. So do any of you have this as the case in your tenant where you have an old classic site as your root homepage of SharePoint and it's not a communication site? Yeah, I'm interested to kind of hear your feedback. Maybe you never thought about it. Maybe it's just kind of always been that way. And but communication sites are a lot prettier and a lot better suited to be that main intranet homepage. All right, so now you can get rid of your classics. So I already did this on my little test tenant, my Wonderlaura tenant. And I've done this at a couple of customers, and Joelle's done this at a couple of customers. So you do need to be able to do PowerShell to be able to do this, but it's a very simple command. So I'm going to click my start window and type ISE, and that's just my short way of getting the Windows PowerShell ISE to come up, because that's the best interface to be able to deal with PowerShell. And then I right click on that when it comes up in my start menu. You can't see my start menu even when I share my screen, because it shares my other monitor. But I'm going to right click on the Windows PowerShell ISE program on my computer and choose Run as Administrator. So that will bring up PowerShell, and that's where we're actually going to be doing the site swap command. And so I'll go ahead and share my screen and show you kind of some of these concepts first. I know I'm not sharing. All right, let me see. Oh, and Joelle said keep in mind this isn't available for everyone yet. It is currently rolling out. So Joelle said it's something, yeah, you may as well try it, right? Something to do with the size of the company. So if your company's over a certain number of users in your tenant, maybe you might not have it yet. So what's the error, Joelle, that you're going to get if you don't have it available when you try it? She'll just let us know in the chat. Okay, so I have this, let's see, am I sharing my screen? Yes. This is a test tenant. This is one of those demo tenants. So if you are a Microsoft partner, you can go to, actually it's not demos.microsoft.com anymore. They changed it to transform.microsoft.com. So I'm not logged in as the proper user that needs access to this, but you can go to transform.microsoft.com, log in with your partner account, and it will let you create all these test demo tenants. So this tenant that I'm going to demo this on is actually a brand new tenant, and it actually already has a communication site as the root site. But I went ahead and created a old classic team site so you can see what you might have as your old homepage, right? So if you have a classic site, I'm just going to kind of go through the process of kind of changing it to look modern. You can connect it to an Office 365 group. So you can turn it in to a group, which again, groups are going to be usually used more for team collaboration. And that's not the same thing as a communication site. So that's still not going to give you that look of a communication site. So I'm not even going to bother doing that on this thing. But you can go to your old classic site pages library. Yeah, got it. Make sure your site pages library is in the modern look. And I'm going to create a new site page. And then the new site page, be sure you choose site page in that drop-down box. That is going to be the new modern look. New modern homepage. Okay, and then I'll publish that. And then I have to go back to my pages library and make this page the home page. You have to publish it first. Be sure and do that before it lets you make it the home page. And then, so that's the way that you can take a classic site and turn it into modern. And I already wrote a whole blog post about those steps that I just followed. So it's still not a communication site. So let me show you what a communication site looks like. A communication site, let me go to one of these, like Contoso Landings. Let's see if this is a communication. Oh, wait, let me see. It tells me what type it is right here. Yeah, communication site. So those are I can see in the templates. So I see this one that we just went to a minute ago, this old one. I created that as a classic team site. But a lot of these are communication sites and some team sites. Okay, so this is a communication site. So this is what you want for your home page. And communication sites actually used to have, this is cool, this little animation. They used to have the search box in a different place than they had on team sites, and now they're all just at the very top. So at least they're not that different. All right, so if you want to have your communication site as your root, so you've already created it and you want to switch it to be that, company.sharepoint.com, that's the next thing we'll go through. But first of all, I'm going to take this and mock up a little bit more of what you might already have on your communication site. So I did this for a customer, so I'm going to go through kind of some of the trials and tribulations. So let me double check real quick here. What is this hub? This work at Contoso thing, that is going to be the hub, so I'll just use that. All right, so this is an existing hub site. It's /sites/work. And my root site, pretend that it is an old classic site. And I want to take this thing, this work, and replace it, make it be my root site. Now notice I've already got a whole bunch of navigation. So notice that in this navigation up here with the little HR drop down and all that, that goes across and it follows across to all these sites that are part of that hub. And let's see, my current root site, the one that, remember I told you it's already modern because this is a brand new tenant. My current root site, though, is not part of a hub. So I'll go look at that. See, it's just pretty generic, pretty empty. There's nothing going on in there. It's not part of the hub, so it doesn't have that navigation. So I want to take this thing, let's see, and make sure it's the right URL, work at Contoso. I want to take the work one, and that's going to be my new root. So let's go look at what our command is in PowerShell. And I'm just going to copy this whole thing and just paste it in the chat here just for fun so you can have a copy of it. But I'm going to tweak this. This is the old one that I used when I did I swapped out my WonderLaura, but all I have to do is just change a few things in this PowerShell script. And I did put a link in the newsletter that I sent out yesterday. I put a link to the official Microsoft page about this PowerShell command. So the first thing I need to do is connect to PowerShell, to the site. So this is just going to be a generic tenant URL, just whatever your tenant name is, -admin. So I need to go get like this thing right here. So it's probably your company name. So I'm putting that here. So all of these are going to be in this little M365 thing. So what it's going to do is I need to connect, and it will prompt me to authenticate when I do that. Oh, what is my authentication for that? Let's see. I have to authenticate to this thing. I am that login. I kind of forgot about having to authenticate to this. And I need to go, since I was already authenticated in my browser, I don't remember what the password is to this little temporary tenant. So I have to go, look that up actually. Couldn't find an account with that username. That is weird. Let me see if it's something else. Maybe I'm got the, no, I didn't get the end of it wrong. Well, it's got a couple of capital letters in there. You wouldn't think that would make a difference though. It did. Whoa, that is weird. Okay, so I actually have to log in as into my partner account in that demo thing, in the demos thing, to be able to show you. So may as well just go through that. Actually, it's going to redirect me to transform. So you all get, oh okay, thanks, Aunt. All right, so you all get to see what that whole demos experience is, because I have to go in here and find my password, which I have to remember to not show you. So I'll have to log in to my partner account in here. My environments. Credentials. There we go. Password copy. That was pretty easy. See, here's my, all I did was click credentials and it gave me a copy button to copy my password, but that is my environments. These are all the tenants it gives you. With, I highly recommend it. Okay, so I logged in. Let's see, it prompted me. I gotta find where I was. Did I connect? Let me double check. I did. I think it did. I think it already connected. All right, so when I run this next one, it'll just tell me if I'm connected or not. But I think since it went to the next line, when I ran it this time, it actually did connect. Okay, so I need three things. I need to have the site that currently exists, that is the pretty communication site, that I want to become my new root site. So that is the source URL. And then I have my target URL, which is always going to be your root. And then the archive, that's going to take the old existing root site and move it somewhere else. It's going to take the whole thing and just yank it out and move it to whatever place you determine here. So you can just make up, now this can't exist yet, this third one. This is not a site collection you're creating ahead of time. So this can't exist yet. So I'm taking, this is where I need to take that work at Contoso thing and put it in there. So let me see. This is the root site, the one I'm going to move it out of the way. And this is my sites/work. So that's the one that I want to put right here. I'll just paste the whole thing there. All right, so this first one, when I connected, it has that -admin in it, remember. So this is the one I'm taking, where I'm moving it to, and the archive. Now it's gonna give me an error, and I'll show you that. I didn't connect. All right, let me just run the whole thing. Admin at, let me go pull that up again. They used to, when they had these demo tenants years ago when they first came out, they used to all start off with the same password. And so you could just pretty much go into anyone else's, and if you knew the URL and just, they all have the same password, and you just log in. I knew somebody that was doing a demo on stage one time with one of these, and somebody logged in and just like deleted a bunch of site collections in the middle of his demo. It's not very nice, huh? Okay, so I got an error. This site will not work because it is a hub site. So I was talking to Joelle about this, and I said, Joelle, this site is a hub site, because I was doing this for a customer. I said, but it's a lot. I had, this customer, I had hundreds of sites. I had a whole bunch of them in that hub, not hundreds, but a lot of sites had that hub site as their hub. And I thought, if I make this not be a hub site anymore, do I have to redo all of those? So the answer is no, you don't. You don't. I have to make this not be a hub site so that I can move it and do the switch. But I don't have to disconnect all these. They will come back. So that's probably a relief, right? So I have to go to my hub site, the one I'm about to move, this work at Contoso thing, and unregister it. So make it not a hub site anymore. All right, so now all those disappeared, but they will come back. They will remember. So now I can go back and go to this command doing my invoke SPO site swap and just run that again. And it looks like it's going. No errors. Oh, Joelle says it will warn you that it will, but then it'll do it with no errors. So what I did discover last night when I did this, during off hours, right? I did this during off hours for a customer. I haven't heard from them yet today, so I think it went smoothly. I did it during off hours, but I realized that after I ran it, everything went fine. But you know what I forgot about? The navigation. So all that navigation that I had built on the hub site didn't go with it when I moved it. So I don't know, Joelle, if anybody had a different experience with this, if you've tried it, but nothing was technically broken, but I did have to manually, it was that global navigation, that hub site navigation. I had to manually create, it had probably like 40 or 50 links in it, all in this, mega menu thing. And I had to manually create all those last night, which I was not anticipating. She said it comes back as well. Well, maybe I didn't wait long enough. I sat there and refreshed it a couple times, and I thought the navigation was going to come back, but it never did. So I manually created it, so it's all good. But yeah, it didn't give me an error or anything. But it did go smoothly. So that one, it went. So it finished. It didn't give me any errors. So I'm finished with PowerShell. I just had to connect to it and run the one command. So now when I go to, this is my old root site, I'll go refresh it. Let me go do a hard refresh. There we go. How to do a hard refresh. Yeah, Joelle, I was surprised too, because I thought in my other tenant that it had come back. The navigation had gone along with the page. So yeah, look at this one. This one actually came with it. So the navigation's fine. So I didn't actually lose anything, because I still was able to go refer back to like the whole site that it took and moved to another place. I was able to just go to the place that it moved it to and redo I didn't lose anything, because I could just look at what was there and just copy it, each thing manually. So it wasn't that bad, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know why that navigation did that and other ones didn't. So now it's back. It's as the root site. Now I have to make it a hub site again, I believe. Let me see. So now I go to my root. The quickest way to find the root is just go to URL and sort it A to Z. So maybe the navigation will disappear, Joelle, when I make it the hub site again. We'll see. Yeah, so Lisa Jo tried to run it, and she said invoke SPO site swap is not recognized. That, yeah, like Joelle said, that probably means you need to update PowerShell on your computer. So you need to download the latest update. So that's going to be like update module, and then the module is called God, which one of it is it? Is it SharePoint PNP PowerShell Online? No. Microsoft.online.sharepoint.powershell. So that's the nice thing about this ISE thing is it'll show you all the modules that you have, and you can do updates. See, it's downloading new stuff. It did it really quick though, didn't it? So pretty much anytime, usually in PowerShell scripts that I use, I pretty much put this update module thing at the very top of every script so that it updates before I do whatever I'm doing. All right, let's see. Register as a hub site. Oh yeah, I gotta put me, I'm admin. Joelle said SharePoint Online Management Shell. Let me see. I have so many in here. See, I don't have one called SharePoint Online Management Shell. Joelle, I'd be curious when you go to this ISE interface, what is yours called over here? Because it might be called the SharePoint Online Management Shell, but the little system name for it might be Microsoft Online SharePoint PowerShell for your module. You can tell I'm not a PowerShell person. I went to the Microsoft site, typed PowerShell for SharePoint, and it gave me a link to download the right PowerShell on my computer. And then this ISE thing is what I use to interface to it. So Susan, if your intranet was built on Classic, then, and you run this, it will take whatever new communication site you create and it'll make it be the root site. It'll take all your old navigation and everything and move it to that archive URL to here. So you would have to recreate. So this whole thing is assuming that your new site that you've created, your communication site like this one, you've got it all ready to go. You've got your pages built out that's ready to be your live root homepage. And so this particular customer of mine, I first started building all their site, like creating their intranet, migrating them a couple of months ago, really back in June, and I knew this site swap thing was coming soon. So when I first created their main intranet homepage, I just created a communication site with the URL /site/root, knowing that that's the one I was going to move to be the root site. And on the root, I didn't put anything on the actual root homepage. I just put a couple of web parts like showing like my recent documents and just some highlighted content and things like that, just so that there was something there if somebody happened to navigate to the root. But I put like the navigation, home links and everything were all taking them to the to that /root site. So people were only finding the actual root if they just typed the URL in just directly. Does that make sense? Yeah, Lisa Jo, that sounds about right. You usually just have to completely uninstall, like go to your add remove programs and completely uninstall anything that says PowerShell and make sure it's gone and then install new. That sometimes when it's been months and months since I've used PowerShell and new updates have come out, I just have to do that. Okay, so this is my new one. I switched it to be the hub site. Notice, I'll refresh this, that all those other sites that were using it as their hub site, they all came back. So you can see all these say that site name as the hub. So the hub didn't lose anything. Let me do another hard refresh. Let's see. Yeah, no, my navigation is still there. So I have no idea why I lost my navigation when I did it on the other one. Well, it's good though, so it saves some time, right? So there's all, yeah. So there's this is my root site. So this is the site that used to be the /work. And now when I go to this /work site, it's not there anymore. It doesn't exist because now the /work site is on the root, and the one that used to be on the root is going to be at this old URL. So this is that sort of generic blank one communication site that had been just the main root site for Contoso. Another thing that I noticed when I ran this was that I had in my in Wonderlara, let me go to my other tenant here. Over in Wonderlara, when I did this, the site that had been the root, again, I've had this Wonderlara tenant for probably 7 years at least. I mean, I think it might have still been BPOS when I first got this. I got this thing a long time ago. So this had been a really old tenant. So I had a bunch of just subsites that I had created off this root where I had just, demos and just a bunch of junk. So I noticed when I went to do a demo that a Power App that I had created that uses some of the data in one of the subsites was broken. So if you come across this, if you have a Power App using data from a list that's been yanked out of the way, it's really easy. All you have to do is go to your data sources in your Power App and delete them and then re-add them. And when you re-add them, you put the new site. Don't add additional data sources. Don't add the new location in addition to the ones that are already there, because it'll put a number 1 at the end of them and they'll have a different name. So that's why you have to completely delete the data sources that are in the Power App and then simply reconnect them. And then the Power App just works because it's the exact same list. It was just moved to a different URL. Let's see. What are we asking? Trying to create new sites from the admin center. Yeah, so you should be able to go to, when you go here to admin, that will take you to the Microsoft 365 admin center. Then you go to SharePoint, and then you go to, if you're still on the classic one, that'll be the old ugly one, then you're not going to see any of your modern stuff. So you'll have to click, you'll have a button that says like, go to the new experience or try it now or something. I'm pretty sure they forced everybody over to the new experience by now. And then you go to your active sites, and that's where you'll see them all. And then, yeah. But if this screen that you're on in the SharePoint home still looks like classic, I came across one of those the other day. I think it had just a big button that said, try the new experience or try, I don't know, the modern admin center or something like that. It was pretty obvious at the top. All right. Oh, she can't see. She's asking questions, but can't necessarily see the video because it's blocked. All right. So this is my old one, my old route that got moved. My new one, all the navigation went with it, and it all still works. Just be sure and pay attention to go to your old root site, and you might have some content in there that people might care about. So go double check and either let people know where their old content has been moved to, or migrate it somewhere else. Kind of, it's up to you what to do with it. But anyone trying to get to that content that used to be at the root site is now going to need to go to your archive site to get to it. Oh, another thing that Mark Anderson actually wrote, he wrote a couple of blog posts about this. Something with the managed metadata was weird when he tried it. He had two blog posts in a row, this thing. So there he was getting OneDrive errors because there was actually a library in that old root site that had been synced with OneDrive. So if anybody did that, that's another thing to watch out for. So you might have Power Apps that have lists as their back end. You might have people having synced that stuff with their OneDrive. Of course, anybody could have put bookmarks in their Internet Explorer to take them straight to the old site too, expecting their data to be there. But this is where he shows kind of how to fix that OneDrive issue. I'll put a link in the chat to that. I'll put it over in the general channel. I know it was a shorter topic this week, but I knew that I was going to be doing that other call before this, so I didn't want to make it too long or complicated. I wasn't sure if it was going to go over, or I just was trying to add less complexity to my life today. Any other questions about the site swap concept? Again, you just take what lovely communication site you've already created and that you're ready for you to be your new home page, and you put the target as your root of your tenant. And then an archive is going to be where you want to move the old home page when you pull the sheet out from under it. Do the magic trick. Yank it out from under it. Stacy, no, I don't know how long the BCS is going to be supported. Yeah, I think that's about it. Next week, no, you can't do it with anything other than the root. It's only for the root. The target has to be the root. That's the only purpose for the site swap. Yep. I'm pretty sure, I think I saw this somewhere on a blog or Twitter or something, but you would get an error if you try to put some other site other than the target as the, other than the root as the target URL. Next week is my live online Power Apps and Flow 5-day class. So we'll not be having Power Hour next week. That's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. And we have these every 2 or 3 months, but it's amazing. All the just kind of little things here and there that have been added and changed. Not anything drastic, but new things that have come around since last time I taught it. More so in Flow than in Power Apps. They changed some of the interface again in Flow and added some functionality like copy, paste, and some things. So looking forward to that. You all check it out. Sign up at iwmentor.com. And thanks for coming to Power Hour. And I guess we'll end a little bit early unless you all have any more questions about site swap. Let me see. People are chatting about ways to migrate the content and move it somewhere else from that, the old place that it used to be. Yeah, ShareGate's it's a really good product. Yeah, it is a bit expensive, but it's so easy, and it works really well and never gives any issues, and it's such a time saver to be able to have that. All right. Thanks everybody for coming. Let's see. The next conference is going to be Ignite, and that's going to be in Orlando in November. That's the next thing I'm speaking at. And I will see y'all later. Over and out.